Hey team, welcome to an amazing opportunity. I just want to share with you quickly how one can make some easy money just by saving on your slips. Okay, so basically, the name of the company is called Element, and what Element is requiring from you is nothing different from what you are currently doing and have been doing for years, as it were. So, it's not a company that requires you to invest in it. You're not going to be buying shares in it. You're not going to be buying any products in Element. Okay? All Element wants you to do, as mentioned, you continue doing what you do, and that is to go shop. Only this time round, when you do your shopping, albeit for groceries, where you're putting in fuel or you're buying furniture, or clothing, you keep your slips, and on a weekly basis, you submit your slips and you get paid for that. That is as simple as how it is. Okay, you now have the opportunity to get all the money back that you've spent every week in and week out. Element will pay you the money back for the shopping that you've done. How do they do this? Right. Firstly, Element is interested in the information on the slips. Now, it's not your personal information because, as you know, you don't have to put any personal information on the slips. So it's mostly cash slips. What they're looking for is the products that you are purchasing, because behind every product that you buy, there is a manufacturing company, right? So they look at the products, they then go back to the manufacturing companies of that product and they give a feedback. They basically sell that information. So, for example, if you're buying coffee, and let's say it's Rick Coffee, and you're buying the 1 kilo, everybody in your area at this particular shop is all buying the 1 kilo. That information they then sell to Rick Coffee and say, listen, there's this spa in this particular area, in this city, in this country, that is, the 1 kilogram is out doing everything else that you have on the shelf. Rick Coffee will now know this and say, okay, let's put more emphasis on the 1 kilo, or let's look at how we can spruce up the 500 and 250 gram in terms of pricing and things like this. In other words, okay, we as the consumer, we provide the information to Element. Element takes that information and sells it off to the manufacturing companies, so that manufacturing companies do not put things on the shelf that will gather dust. That's what it really is. And Element pays you for this. Remember, that slip that you are submitting, you've actually paid for that slip. If your shopping is 100 Rand or 500 Rand or $100 a week, whatever, you get the slip. Right? You've paid for that slip. It's just not a piece of paper. It's just not a slip, but you've actually paid for it by virtue of the groceries that you've bought. Okay, so to get started, and now that we know why Element is looking for the slips and we understand that, you need to then register with Element. And to register with Element, it's going to cost you $100 or 1,700 Rand as of today, which is the 3rd of October. All right, whichever country you're in, if this video goes viral, you take $100 and you work out what is your exchange rate. Now, why is it that you have to pay for a back office where other platforms give you a back office for free? Well, this is not a multi-level marketing company, right? It's not a networking business. It's an actual proper company per se, where without this back office, you cannot load your slips. When you purchase this and you go for your data rewards, okay, you firstly indicate as to how you've bought your groceries. It's either cash or credit card, and if it's card, you put the last four digits down. And if you do this with one card, then this is the card that you need to use for the entire month. So in other words, if you list, I'm using, in this case, I'm using two cards here, and these are the last four digits of the card. I cannot take someone else's slip with a different card number to what I've listed here. I can do that in the following month, but in this month, because I've registered these two cards, these are the two cards that I can use. My third option is obviously I can list slips that is cash, or I can decide every single slip that I list will be cash. Then I don't need to list the four digits of the card, and then that will be easier. Then when you get to your stores, you submit, if wherever you're staying, you type in spa, for example, and if you're in Cape Town or Athlone or wherever, you'd see if there is one close by. It will show you there isn't, right? You look for a spa that's in your area, for example, Rosmead Avenue. um, that would be here, Super Spa, Rosmead Avenue. So I would then load it and I can add it to my list, right? Without listing this particular shop, if I shop there, I cannot submit the slips because I didn't add the store. All right. And then once that is done, you can add your receipts. And by the way, you can add up to 20 stores. All right. So this is the date that you would put in here. You would put the date down of the receipts that you loaded. Normally, you would load every Saturday. Your week runs from a Sunday to a Saturday. So whatever shopping you do from Sunday right up to Saturday, I would say around about 8 o'clock the evening, because sometimes during the Saturday afternoons, you still buy something in the last minute. Keep those slips and then you submit on a Saturday around about 8 o'clock. You know that you're not going to be shopping at all on a Saturday, well, then you can load on a Friday. So you put down, say, Saturday's date. You would say it is either audio stuff, baby stuff, books, whatever, food and drink, which is your groceries, furniture. You can list whatever you have bought. And then you, of course, you list the shop that you bought it from. And these are the shops that you yourself have put in your shopper's profile. Okay. So once that's done and you tell them this is how you've made the payment, I've either used this card or this card ending in 2793 or I used cash. There are two slips that you will then load. So when you go to the counter, you'll get two slips. One slip will itemize all the products that you've bought. So once you've loaded your slips or you upload it to your laptop, for example, you can then say add item. Okay. You can upload the slips per se. I'll just show you here quickly. So if I must go to my desktop, look at slips. So now you can go firstly, like I said, the first slip you would load will highlight all the products that you've bought. The second slip on that for that same slip would then be how you paid for it. It will either reflect it's a cash slip or it is a slip from one of your credit cards. Okay. So here you would load the slips with all the products on, and here you would load the slips which will reflect how you paid for it. Again, that is why it's important to purchase this back office as well, because without this, you cannot load your slips. Right? And this, as I mentioned, is not a multi-level marketing business, and I'll show you why. So once you've joined this business and you've paid your 1,700 in this case, or $100, you are then, and that's a once-off fee, you are now registered with the business and you get your back office. The company now expects you to be active in this company every month. Right? If and for that you need to pay an activation fee of $100, or again in this case 1,700 rand, as the rates are today. Now nobody wants to pay that $100 every month, but if you do not pay it, you become inactive, which means now you cannot load your slips and you don't have the opportunity to get your money back. But so it's a conundrum, all right? You need to pay it, but you don't want to pay it. Sometimes you can't afford to pay it. What the company then suggests to you is go and get three people, okay? And you're not networking these three people. You just introduce three people to the business, and when they come on board, your $100 will then be squashed every month, simply because you have these three people on board. The question that you will ask these three people, or however many, is simple. If I introduce you to a company that will cover all your expenses that you've spent in the week, would you be interested? Of course, these people will say yes, and you introduce them to the business. Once they're in the business, they will then be offered the same opportunity as what you have been. And for sure, they will then also focus on not wanting to pay this $100 every month, and they will bring in three people each. Remember something, just by having these people in your business doesn't mean you're earning from their slips or you'll be earning from their $100 that they're putting on the table. But the company will look at you and say, well, okay, I see the effort that you've put in, right? Firstly, you brought in three people. I will therefore squash this $100 that you need to pay every month. And I will, as a company, will take care of that. The second thing is they will then offer the three people the same opportunity. But now, because your three people brought in three people each, it means you've got 12 people in your network. And simply by having 12 people in your network, the company now pays you $100 every week, besides the money they're going to pay you for the slips. Okay? $100 every week just by having 12 people in your network. Now, we never touched on the amount of money that you're going to get paid for your slips. The company will pay you on a monthly basis for your slips, either $100, or they'll pay you $200 a month for your slips, right? Not $110, not $120, but they will pay you either $100 or $200 a month for your slips. In order to get the $100 per month, you need to spend or submit slips to the value of $100 per week. So at the end of the month, you would have submitted slips to the value of $400 and you get $100 back. That's about 20% of return on investment on your slips. Okay. How is it that I can get all my money back? If I spend $100 every week, I would like to get $100 back every week. Well, again, simply by introducing this to 3 people, you will now get paid $100 every week, besides the $100 once a month that you would be getting for your slips if you submit slips to that value. More importantly, please note that it doesn't now mean that you automatically would have to go and shop for $100 or 1,700 every week to qualify. Right? These are cash slips. So if your current shopping situation is maybe 1,000 rand for the week or $50, you can use your neighbor's slips, friends, family, doesn't matter, and you can add it onto your slips to make up that $100 or 1,700 rand per week, so that you can get that money back at the end of the month. All right. So it's a very simple business, guys. It's a company that is looking for slips, and what they want to do is take the information on the slips, sell it, and then they would pay you. Right? When you get to a certain level, and I'll show that to you now in the compensation plan. Okay, if you look at the compensation plan here, you bring in your 3 people. You're now active. Okay, those 3 people will qualify you not to be paying you $100 every month. And so you'll see on your first line as a founder, you don't earn anything, but you've got free membership. Okay, after you've obviously paid for your back office. Once your 3 people here have brought in 3 people, once your 3 people here have brought in the 3 people each, you now have 12 people in your network, and automatically you will earn $100 every week just by having these 12 people. And it's got nothing to do with your slips. Okay, but what the company requires, and this is another reason why you need your back office. If you're 12 people, all right, bring in 3 people each, you will end up on 40 people. For 40 people in your network, you will earn $180 a week. All right, and out of these 40 people, you only know the first 3 people. But also bear in mind, to qualify for this $180, you would need a fourth person. That doesn't mean you now need to start looking for a fourth person, because remember, when you started out, you would have sent that question: if I can introduce you to a company that will cover your weekly expenses, you would send that question to 10, 15 people. So you would already have 4, 5, 6, or 8 people coming back to you and say, I'm interested. In your arsenal, they're there. Okay, so you just slot another person in, and then you qualify for this $180. But here's the reason why you would need the back office as well. Because irrespective of the amount of people that you have in your network, you need to log in your time. Okay, and it's called time entry. So you can have 40 people, 100 people in your network. You don't earn a single cent if you don't say, I've spent an hour today chatting to 3, 4 people. Okay? And then you say it was either on training. If you join a Zoom call, you can log the Zoom call in and say, I've been on a Zoom for an hour, and you get paid for it. What platform pays you for attending a Zoom call? Right? Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to physically spend that hour chatting to 3 people. If you take 10 minutes or 15 minutes to chat to someone and say, let me introduce you, you can log it down as an hour. You know, understand? If you take this into if you put this into perspective to what you are currently doing in a normal 9 to 5 job, right? You're working a full 9 hours to get a salary, and if your salary is 10 or 15,000 rand a month, and here you can quite easily earn yourself, okay, on $180 a week. Okay, that's $800, nearly $800 for the month. That's 13,500 rand for the month, and it only costs you 1,700 rand to buy the back office, and it will cost you 2 hours a day, literally 2 hours a day to chat to some people. You don't necessarily have to chat to people for 2 hours, but when you're in a position and someone phones you up and says, listen, can you just inspire this person or give this person a bit of motivation and so forth, You are that consultant. You're the manager, you're the senior manager, executive, director, whatever. The minute you give feedback or you chat to someone, you log that time in, right? Without logging in that time, you cannot get paid. And so this is what differentiates Element from any other platform. Other platforms are reliant on the people that you bring in and you earn from them. Okay. So I hope you understand and it makes sense to you. And if the person that has sent you this, please get back to them, give them a big thumbs up, and hope to see you soon in our platform. Thank you so much.